Now, for the bashers, I've done a lot of different types of running with this vehicle. If you haven't seen my videos of bashing with this vehicle and the Project Chimera A conversion that I've done with it, check those out after you look at this video here. I've run it in stock form, I've run it modified, I've tried different suspension tunings. As a basher, like I said, it's easy to do maintenance on it, but you have to do a lot of maintenance on it. Now, there are some folks out there who have been very lucky, I would say, with the maintenance on these trucks. They haven't done very much of it, and they haven't had many problems with their trucks. A lot of people, myself included, have had a lot of trouble from rocks and sand and dust and water getting into things. The stock electronics that come with the system and with the covered receiver box, the sealed servo, everything there in the electrical department is waterproof. The chassis itself is not waterproof by any means. It is not even water resistant. You have steel bearings all the way around, and those can and will seize up. I'm not the only person who has literally lost bearings from having them seize up from water, and I have dried my vehicle very carefully. After any run where you go through water, you're going to want to really take out any bearings that are exposed to the elements, particularly bearings in the hub carriers, and also the bearings that are around your center diff or your slipper clutch assembly. Those can collect water in them. You're going to actually want to take the rubber seals off completely and clean out the bearing entirely, let it dry, then re-oil and put the seals back on. Just doing a little bit of running a heat gun over it from the outside or using a towel or something like that is not going to cut it. You really need to take those bearings apart, or if you want to not have to deal with that anymore, get yourself some stainless steel bearings. But that, of course, is going to add to the cost of the vehicle as a whole. Another durability issue that the Slash 4x4 has had, that you've probably heard about if you've been following the truck, has been the rear stub axles. The rear stub axles are a new part number for this truck, and early on they were bending like crazy, whether you had the Platinum Edition or you had the Ready to Run. I had the Ready to Run with the plastic rear hub carriers, which are supposed to be more forgiving. I went through 3 rear stub axles that bent on me, and I was not doing any kind of crazy bashing with them at that time. That was bone stock, and I wasn't getting more than like 9 inches of air off the ground. Other than that, durability for the rest of the vehicle on the whole, I think, has been very good. I've seen some people both in person and in videos who have really thrashed this thing. I myself have gone through many cartwheels. I've taken it over some terrain that it was never meant to go on. I've run into things, and nothing that has broken on it, and I have broken some things, but nothing that has broken on it would I say beyond those bent rear stub axles early on was the fault of the truck. They were just the fault of circumstances or me making mistakes. So durability wise, I think that overall it's a good truck, but you are going to be needing to do maintenance on it to get stuff out of the bearings, particularly if you're running water. And also, I've actually taken off, there's supposed to be a cover going over this center drive shaft, but the cover is not very effective because things can get in from the front. It's actually open in the front from the underside. Things can also get in from a hole that's open right here if you have the version that has a slipper clutch. The slipper clutch adjuster nut is right there, and no matter which version you have, you've got that hole in the cover. So the drivetrain is accessible by dirt and small rocks and sand. They can get in there, get jammed into that nut, get jammed into your gears, and cause all sorts of problems. Also, water likes to get down in there and stay in there and really work its way well into the bearing there. So if you're a basher, do be warned that you will want to do regular maintenance, at least take that rear clip off. Like I said, it's easy, it's just 4 screws, but you will want to do that at least after each running day, I would say. You don't have to do it after every battery, but after every good run, especially if you run in an area that has a lot of dust or a lot of sand or a lot of water. Just a couple other little things for everyone to keep in mind who buys a Slash 4x4. The stock tires, similar to the rear springs that come on it, the stock tires are horrible. The ones that come on the RTR are pretty much useless for everything. They are hard and compound, they look very pretty, but they have way too much tread surface on them. It's much too flat, and the result is they just skim over just about everything. The ones that come with the Platinum Edition are the S1 racing compounds, a softer compound. It's the same tread pattern, a very nice looking tread pattern. Way more traction comes with those, but it's still a wide, a large tread, has a lot of contact area, so it doesn't really grip into anything too well, but it lasts quite a long time, and the S1 compound ones are decent, at least for practice. Overall value of the truck, I think, is very good. If you get one of the ready-to-run models, it comes with a 2.4 gigahertz radio. It's of course not a racing radio, but if you're a basher, it's a great radio. Comes with the Valenion brushless system, which the motor is excellent. I've used it for many different things, from touring car sized all the way up to a 1/6 scale, literally 1/6 scale, 32-inch long conversion that I did to a 2-wheel drive Slash. The speed control, some people have had good luck with it, some people have had it burn out easily, but Traxxas has been good at replacing ones that go out at no fault of the owner. It is a waterproof system, so that's a plus. And you know, it's a single battery, single motor, 4-wheel drive vehicle, and you can put larger wheels and tires on it and a smaller body or whatnot to make it into kind of a 4-wheel drive Stampede that people have been asking for a long time. So overall, good value. Now, when I did my first impressions video towards the end, I kind of tried to give my overall thoughts on it, and my feelings were mixed, whether for a racer or for a basher. I've spent quite a lot of quality time with the truck now, and guess what? My feelings are still mixed. I really don't like having to tear it apart. Even though it's easy to do, I don't like having to tear it apart on a very regular basis. There's a lot of maintenance that's required for this thing. And for something that touts its waterproof design, it's really not waterproof. The electronics are waterproof, everything else is not, and it requires a lot of careful drying and re-lubing if you do run through water. As a racer, it's decent, but honestly, if I was going to get into 4-wheel drive open short course racing seriously for the first time, I would not buy this truck. I would buy most likely the Jammin SCRT. The Slash is a more durable vehicle than the racing chassis, but the racing chassis with the flat chassis design, everything placed at the lowest point reasonably possible, just a much better design. If you really want something that's just going to be an amazing basher, again, not necessarily the best vehicle for you. The bending rear stub axles is a problem. Having to do maintenance on it on a regular basis, a lot more, significantly more than you would on many other vehicles. Not the greatest thing. You might want to think about sticking to a 2-wheel drive vehicle, or if you absolutely need 4-wheel drive, consider going up to something a little bit larger like an e-Revo. And e-Revo, if you put a brushless system in it, you can run at a pretty decent speed with just a single battery in that. Also, you don't need to run 2 batteries unless you really want to go super fast. So those are my thoughts on the Traxxas Slash 4x4. This is a keeper for me for now because I've still got a lot of running to do on it with it in its basher form as Project Chimera A. So be sure to check out those other videos on my channel, and if you haven't subscribed, please kindly click on the subscribe button either on this page or on my channel at youtube.com/user/ultimatercnetwork, and I will see you next time.